Before our second round of games, when Dukovic came around, we had to organize a retreat. The entire management committee, the technical committee, including the head coaches and rest, and the FA leadership at Dodowa. We started the meeting, I think, around 5 or 6 p.m. No, 4 or 5 p.m. We ended at about 2 a.m. It was a lot of sacrifice, thinking through every step of the way, match one, match two, blah, 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 thinking, arguing, discussing things among ourselves. So at the end of it, we realized it was time. So we came out of that meeting primed.
My first game was against Congo, away game. I had a call-up. I remember we were camping in Kenya. I was the last player that reported to camp because the distance from Russia. And the funny thing is, Doya saw me playing as a playmaker. So with him, he wanted me to come in as a playmaker. But my real position is in the middle as well, and he saw me as a playmaker.
Djokovic came with his philosophy, like a winner. There was a time when players were playing what they want, but he came and he changed those things. Then he started introducing the video analysis and watching the opponent, weak side, and then where they can also hurt you. And that helped us.
I quite remember when I report, I was in my room and then Bobo came to my room and he said, like, can we talk? There is this problem that we are having in the team. Every position is okay, but we don't have someone to play from the right. Can you do that? I said, why not? Because in the youth level, U17s, I played right back. So we had training, he tried it in training, match preparation before we moved to Congo. It was away. That was one of the toughest games that we played that year.
That game, in my view, was the game that qualified Ghana to the Mondial in Germany in 2006.
Because it's very difficult to go there, a big stadium, over 90-something thousand spectators. The fans were bullying us, even from the airport.
There was a Ghana contingent of soldiers staying there. They were with the team. It was almost like a war zone. You had to travel with soldiers in the car to training. We all stayed in this huge hotel in the center of the city. The stadium was one of the most intimidating atmospheres I've ever seen.
We were lucky. I think we were lucky because the Kinshasa venue was obviously bigger. I think 80,000 capacity stadium, full to capacity. And this was a Congo team that was one of the best. Shabani Nonda and Lua. Good players, good players. But they came up against a well-drilled and motivated Ghanaian side.
Looking at the history between Ghana and Congo, it's always tough. It's always tough because Congolese always have Ghana in their heart. They admire Ghana national team a lot, and they learned a lot from Ghana national team. And anytime they play Ghana, Ghana motivate them. So when, like I said, that time, any team that play against Ghana, they've got nothing to lose. They only come and have fun. They flew themselves around. But Ghana, like the country demands, the coach demands, your teammates demands, and your position demands. So it was a whole lot that will be going through the players' mind. Myself, even during the game, I wasn't part of the team that I was sitting on the stands. But when you hear the shout and they look at you, you're from Ghana, if we don't beat you, you're not going. You see, and building up from the hotel, coming to the stadium, even when we arrived, we have to do a shake-up. It was a whole lot.
And there was a group of us Ghanaian journalists running commentary, and they just kept screaming at us. But we played a really good game.
It is right for anyone to describe that atmosphere as a war atmosphere. Because if people come carrying guns, even sticks, it's not easy. Even tear gas is not easy, let alone gun. One bullet from the gun can kill 10 people or more, So I think the intention was to intimidate the team.
The park was full and packed, and those who were standing outside was even more than those who were inside.
The intention was to put the fear of God in the team and the players so that they will not be able to play.
The stadium was full, like full. Even on the tracks, there were people on the tracks. So when we were coming for warming up, I was the one who always lead the team. So I came outside and I saw the crowd, so I have to rush inside and tell the boys that they should cool down because the crowd there, they can intimidate us, so we should just go and have fun.
I think they miscalculated. They didn't know how resilient the Ghanaian was. And they didn't know that we could withstand these hardships and get out of it and do our best. So I can never forget that moment.
That's the power of the game. Football brings a lot of things, a lot of experience to you, especially when you travel to other countries, when you are chasing for results.
Everybody knew Kinshasa was a very difficult place to go. Djokovic had told me before the game that, look, this is a game we cannot afford to lose. But that was also the first sign of a coach who was pragmatic and practical, because our setup and everything played into that.
Djokovic at the time knew the terrain. That side of Africa is the side that he's worked. So he knew the Congolese team very, very well. And he mapped up a strategy that required that we play to the strength of our team. I remember very well, Michael Essien was in his element. Aliou Muntari, absolutely brilliant. John Mensah, one of the best games I've seen him play.
But we fought well. We had a very solid goal from Asamoah Gyan, assist by me.
Jan on and then boom, we were 1-0 up and the whole stadium was dead silent.
Asamoah Gyan, look, the goal he scored. Most people think that, even Asamoah Gyan himself, I don't know, I think he chose the USA goal as his best goal. But in my view, that goal Asamoah Gyan scored is the best he's ever scored for the Black Stars. Looking at the circumstance, the atmosphere, what was at stake, he had defenders to contend with, and the manner in which he controlled the ball in the air, just bang like that into the back of the net, is the best I have seen him score. Technically, it spoke volumes of the quality of the young man.
We're praying that that scoreline will stand. Nevertheless, it ended 1-1.
That was my first game. It was very tough, but we came out well. After the game, we have to stay in the dressing room for the military guys, the peacekeepers, keeping soldiers to come and escort us to our hotel. It was a big game.
The atmosphere in Congo was really not a football atmosphere. Congo, as we even speak today, parts of the country is in the hands of rebels and they are fighting all over. So when you are playing football in those countries and people are charged, you don't know the extent to which they can go. The Ghanaian segment of the UN peacekeeping force, they did well by protecting the team. They also saw it as an opportunity to do their best and contribute to a national cause. They did well protecting the team from the hotel to the stadium and making sure that even up to the time the team left Congo, they were safe. We forever will be indebted to this, the Ghana Armed Forces for that. Even though it was not part of their work, yet they took it upon themselves to discharge this responsibility. And we have always enjoyed the support of Ghanaians anytime we travel outside to play football.
And then our next game is Burkina Faso, home.
We first got sponsorship from Goldface and also introduced a new jersey, white and then black jersey that has the crest and everything with hose and socks. The place looking very good. Goldface came, they give us something to share. Immediately at the hotel, President Kwesi Nyantekyi didn't touch whatever the company gave us. He gave it to us to go and share. So that kind of motivation helps us, like, okay, all right, now we have something behind. We have people who are supporting us. We have a president who thought good of us, making sure that we have everything that we need.
That was when I have to start the game against Burkina Faso, and something happened. Everybody is fighting for a spot, so we go at each other. And I quite remember I was myself and one of the young boys, we were going at each other a lot. in training, the coach tried to stop us, and still we were going at each other. We all want the best for ourselves and for the team. So I think the coach was not happy. So he put his feet down to put both out of the squad. So that game I was on the bench, but the other player was in the stands.
In Kumasi, against Burkina Faso. On a rainy day, I remember very well. It made control of the round object extremely very, very difficult.
Me being out of the squad, and then it started raining in the game, I said, oh, there's no way we'll play good football. You know the Burkinabés, they are very tough, they're strong. In their duels, they come in with power. So there is no way we can outplay them.
That rain was a shower of blessing. We knew Burkina were very stubborn, looking at what they did when we went there. And indeed, they gave us a tough match, a tough game.
It was nervous, sat in the commentary box and you get a good view. So it was running commentary and it's very, very difficult. But Burkina is always difficult. You, from a journalist's perspective and a commentator's perspective, you go into games prepared for a lot of things. You know the history, you understand the complications, you make reasonable guesses about how things are likely to go, and you plan for it.
That day I was on fire. I took my position to myself, and then I make sure no one passes there. I would rather receive the ball at the opponent turf than receiving on my side. I was overlapping, going up, like I don't know. I was more than a horse.
I was a bit scared about the game. I was a bit scared. In fact, it is one of the scariest moments for me in football. That up to the 65th minute, we were down 1-0. And I was sick. I felt sick when we were down. Up to 65th minute before we equalized. I think that, I don't know my adrenaline level at the time, but it must have been high. If I were suffering from high blood pressure, I could have died that day. The match was a tough match for us. Physically, they were better than us. They were stronger, bigger, taller. The average Ghanaian. Their tram is the size of the average Ghanaian or like Kingston.
It was very tough for us. And I quite remember Jotex Frimpong. He came in and he changed the game for us.
Jotex Frimpong, one of the newest striker in the team, he's been brought in from Nigeria, and Yimba, and he was big, strong, because at the time, the Burkinabés were very, very physical. So we needed a player who could go in there and complement the effort of Asamoah and Matiyama at the time, because it was now do or die.
Yeah, Jotex came and he changed the whole game. Because that's what the coach is expecting. Like a player comes from the bench and do different. Because you are not in the bench because you are not good. You are in the bench because you can come and change things around. So he came and he did exactly what the coach was expecting him to do on the field.
I remember Godina Trump started that game, and then Jotex Frimpong have to come and change it. When Jotex Frimpong came in, he started putting pressure on the back line. That's how come Matiyama got the first goal. So after the first goal got in, then the game was open up. I was on the bench and I thanked my stars that, wow, because it was tough.
But in the end, we found a way through. This was what we were doing in Kumasi. We were always finding a way through. And it was that, with Djukovic, you knew that you were not going to outplay teams for 90 minutes, but you knew you were going to be very, very compact. You knew you were going to get your chances, and when we got the chances, we utilized them.
That was one of the electrifying atmosphere I've ever experienced. I was there. I remember that game very, very well. I watched it. And when we got the penalty from a Jotex Frimpong effort, we knew that we were home and dry. Then when Stephen Appiah picked up the ball, come on, this is the Capitano. You will be the first captain in history to qualify Ghana to the World Cup. According to him, those were the things going through his mind. He said, look, I cannot miss this penalty. And he took his chance and then slaughtered the ball in the back of the net.
After that game, we were all happy. If you see the supporters running to the field, hugging us, and then, It was amazing. I cannot describe it, but anyone that watched that game saw what happened there.
Once we won that game 2-1, the message was sent to South Africa. And by then, I think they had gone and they had lost to Uganda or Congo. So that reduced the deficit between them and us to 1 point. And there was one more thing to go and achieve. That was to go to Johannesburg and not draw, but beat South Africa and overtake them.
I remember their coach was underrating us because they have better squad than us. When we got there, his interviews, you can see he's looking down on us, and that's what motivates us.
This match was played at the famous FMB Stadium where the World Cup opening of the soccer is now called Soccer City. It used to be called FMB Stadium. It's about 80 or 90,000 capacity.
I watched this game from Accra. I was in the studio at TV3 preparing the live build-up into the game. And even as here, look, I don't know, but for some reason we went into that game very confident. We had been arguing for a very long time that we were better than South Africa in football. The 3-0 victory gave us immense confidence. We had come back from Congo DR with even more belief. We knew that all we needed to do was to win. We had a Stephen Appiah who was playing out of his skin, a Michael Essien becoming a big name in Europe at the time, Suleiman Tari, Matthew Amma was scoring goals for Vitesse Arnhem, Laryea Kingston was playing the best football of his life in a very, very long time. We had options.
So going into that game, going into the Soccer City, huge atmosphere. I quite remember in our warm-up, South Africans, they are dance and, they have someone on the pitch dancing and the fans were cheering them up. We came out and we cannot hear, even if you want to talk to your teammate, you will not hear because of the vuvuzela.
Yeah, what Laryea said is true. You cannot hear anything from even your teammate.
I hear from a lot of the journalists, the atmosphere in the stadium, you could even feel it sitting behind the TV. The vuvuzela was so loud. But these were players who just didn't care.
But after the warm-up, we went into the dressing room. We came in and we saw the management, Nyantekyi, Fred Pappoe, Awanya Champo. You can see they were in suits and they were singing and, that alone. After the warm-up, we went to the dressing room and they gathered together and they were singing. That alone made us realize that, wow, if the management are in this mood, then we have to go all out.
From the technical men to the management to the players, we were speaking the same language. They were singing, we were singing as well. We know what we're looking for.
The sports minister at the time was Honorable Osafo. The day of the match, before we went to the stadium, he led the team to pray. It was a very inspiring and powerful prayer that I believe psyched these boys up that the whole nation and our heritage was at stake. So they needed to do everything possible.
But the moment the game started, and Michael Essien started bossing the midfield, started dominating the South Africans, they knew they were in for it. And I quite remember in the first half, it was goalless.
I have to be very honest. The South Africans started the game very, very well. But we soaked the pressure. I'm sure, if I'm being honest, within 5 to 10 minutes, we should have considered like 3 goals. But thanks to Adjei is supposed to start. He got sick.
So Adjei was not in the. Adjei was sick. We went with 2 goalkeepers. So Sani Mohammed was to keep. Sani suddenly suffered from stage fright, I'm sure, because he said he had malaria.
He's not feeling well. You can see the tension in that game. All of them are running away from the game. So they have to bring George Owu from Ghana.
So we had to bring George Owu from Accra. Yes. George Owu was originally not part of the team. So he came from Accra to keep. But that shows the tension that had built up in everybody. From the side of administrators, I'm sure everyone had his own experience that he went through.
When George is in the pole, for me as a defender, I relax because he can talk, he can organize from the back, he's a leader. So even when we were losing our top goalkeepers and we saw George coming, they also give us confidence because myself, John Mensah, we play with him, so we know at the back how we do it at the back. So it was also great. And indeed, George came and then he saved the team.
Non-verti, first 5-10 minutes, he had clear header on target, you have to save it. So after 10 minutes, when the game settled down, that's when we came into the game. And then we dominated play throughout.
Our captain came and we decided when to score and when to defend. Because that game is not a game that we leave it to the coach. Because the game that if South Africa even have a draw, they will still be on top of us. So it was a must-win game. So we decided to go all out. If your leg will break, you have to put it there. Because you still have another 1 year to qualify to play. Yeah, you recover to come and play. So whether your head, you put your head there. So we fought hard and then we got them.
Now in the second half, we had a free kick by the touchline where Laryea Kingston was. So it was in our half. But quick thinking on the part of Laryea on an off-the-ball movement of Stephen Appiah created the chance. And Mathioma, a typical goal poacher, he had read the situation. By the time the South Africans organized themselves, we were 1-0 up. In the moment they had to chase the game with Michaelism and Sule, that was when we started teasing them. We had the better team. We've got the world-class players on parade.
Even the goal that Michaelism scored, the heading, that seals everything. And that time when you see Michael's eye, you know that he's ready to fire.
And Isen just gave them that dagger in the chest with a solid headed goal into the back of the net. That meant that now we had our destiny in our hands. We needed to go out there and beat Uganda and then we'll qualify.
So we have a lot of players who were really, really ready to die because we had great management, great people supporting the team, sponsorship, go first, go with us everywhere. They give us good kits, we dress good, and then we match South Africans at that day. They came with the Adidas, we also came with our Umbro jersey. That was when we said, now we are on. Nobody can stop us. Because beating South Africa in South Africa was a big deal.
That game was tough. And then after the game, Jama, come and see Jama. In the dressing room, it was unbelievable. From the dressing room to the bars to the hotel, it was unbelievable.
I think the individual talent and skill of players, coupled with teamwork, was what made the difference between us and South Africa. You know, psychology plays a key role in football. You may have the best assembly of players, but if they are not well psyched up, they will be subdued by inconsequential considerations. Like they will go and see the crowd and they cannot play. That's one of the reasons why sometimes players who excel in the local league, you take them to a black side, they can't play. They are overwhelmed by crowd, stage frights. You know, we are very mindful of all of this. So when we go there and there's even fear in you, you have to find a way to subdue your fear and pretend that there is nothing against you. Then you stand up, psych the team up, and then push them onto the battlefield. We did exactly that. We went into this competition, the match that day, a better organized team. We had beaten South Africa 3-0 previously. And we're going into the match with an enhanced bonus. The bonus for that match was $4,000. Yes, we increased it from $3,000 to $4,000 just to make sure that we won the match. Beside that, these boys were highly motivated, highly motivated. And for us, we're lucky to have one of the best referees to officiate the match. Mohamed Gezas had officiated in the 1998 World Cup, 2002 World Cup. Very, very experienced Moroccan referee. So at least we were sure of some level playing ground. So all of this we shared with the players and said, look, don't fear anything, go in. We are here to support you, we are praying with you. Ghana, the whole country is behind you, the minister is here. The referee, we don't think he's somebody that will be biased. We went in and we got fair officiating and we won the match.
And Stephen Appiah and ACN and the rest told me afterwards that actually what gave them even more belief was the sense that the South Africans almost thought the game was done. And that game the combination of SCN and Appiah, you know, if you see the quality of the football, the pass for Matthew Amwa to score the first goal, then when the ball almost seemed to go out and it's looked back in and SCN head sitting, we were in the TV3 studios that day and we were all just running around. It was that day that we knew that I began to stay and I started making my plans. I said, we're going to the World Cup.
And for me, that is the best away performance I have seen of the Black Stars here on the continent of Africa, outside Ghana.
You know, after South Africa, we said to ourselves that, you know, we cannot go to South Africa and beat them and come here and joke. So we are taking one at a time because that was the language that all of us were speaking.
But that Uganda game, the party atmosphere, it was one of those days in Kumasi where you couldn't get a seat in the stadium.
Kumasi has really done well for Ghana and the Black Stars because the Kumasi fans were really faithful, truly faithful fans who defied the odds and lend their support to the team. On this occasion, we knew that a win would put us almost in Germany at the time. And the fans thronged the stadium in the stands in their numbers and cheered the team and made sure that we won this match. We were, at the same time, I remember the Burkina match, we were monitoring.
South Africa were playing Burkina Faso in Ouagadougou. And for some reason, the Ghana government had decided, and the supporters union had decided that they would go to Ouagadougou and give Burkina all the backing required. Because the South Africa lost by our permutation meant that if we won the following day, we were qualifying for the World Cup. So this game was on Saturday around 5 p.m. in Ouagadougou.
We had keen interest in the outcome of that match. And we were praying that Burkina Faso we were praying they would draw. At the same time, our destiny was in our hands. We needed to record a win against Uganda. This was the Ugandan side that we drew with in the first round.
So we go by road from Kumasi, you know, very tortuous journey into Ouagadougou. You know, luckily, South Africa lose. So we come back to Kumasi barely 2 hours before the game, an hour literally.
That game, we went into the game that if we win that game, we've qualified. If we win that game, we've qualified because we are leading with a lot of goals, and so we believe it's in our hands now, and we're playing home. So we believe if we beat them, we are through. So we approach the game with all seriousness, with the guidelines of the technical team. And that time, I might say we have quality. So we believe that if it's in Kumasi, there's no way we're going to draw that game. So we approached the game with all seriousness. We dominated play and won the game convincingly.
After the game, everybody was on the pitch. We were at the World Cup, you know, and this was just like, wow.
The fans came to the pitch, they were so happy. They said we have already qualified.
So before the game, they put it in their mind that, oh, if we win this game, we are in Germany.
Yeah, I don't know how that feeling that we had qualified came about.
Immediately after we won the game, we were celebrating, we were on the bus going back to the hotel. And then that management, trust me, they are amazing.
Because we were sure that we will qualify, but we had not qualified yet.
They came back again and told us we have to beat Cape Verde before we qualify.
The excitement was up there.
Sometimes when I watch the video back and I hear myself saying Ghana is through to the World Cup and all.
We all thought we had qualified. Then they said, no, you've not qualified. You need to go and win at Cape Verde.
Then suddenly it dropped. It dropped.
And then everyone was like, yeah, it's another blow.
From there, then trust me, the bus was silent.